is so much in this episode of Beyond the Baseboards. Thank you for watching. Look, I know this is a YouTube video and I gotta do a little dance like a monkey to keep people's attention. I know I'm supposed to do things like adding sound effects or special effects or camera tricks like every time I make a point I move towards the camera. Or maybe I move this way towards the camera. Oh, look at it. I can't look away from the camera for 1 second. I know I'm supposed to be moving and engaging and walking around and doing all these little YouTube tricks, but here's the fact. The information that we are sharing in this video could literally change your life if you let it. And I challenge you to sit through it and really think about what's being said and how it can apply to your specific situation to make your life better. To be clear, what's important here is not just the words of our guest, but rather, or I should say in addition, I want you to focus on what she does, her approach to the market, her viewpoint on the challenges and how she turns those obstacles into massive opportunities. 1,000% you can do that too. Find the gems in this video. There are a ton of them, believe me. And if you need to rewind it back and write some stuff down, do whatever you gotta do, okay? Remember though, it's not the words. Ultimately, it's how those words turn into action when they're applied to your life that will change everything. If you're not making enough money, sales, whatever, just remember, you have the power to change your outcome. And my sincere hope is that this video will be the first step or a boost in the success of your life. That's why I started the channel, and that's why I care so much. Watch to the end, find the gems, and change your life. In case you are not already familiar, let me introduce you to the star of this show, Tiffany Stock. She's a world-class real estate agent, multi-millionaire, multi-million-dollar producer. She's a highly sought-after, high-level coach and mentor to more than 60 real estate agents. And that's just the work stuff. She's also a devoted mom to 5 amazing kids. She's also pretty dang funny. Tiffany Stock.
It is an investment to buy a home. As much as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki says it's not, I feel like it is, because if you're not, then then you're renting, right? And in Danville, you get paid $100,000 a year to own a home. So yeah, $100,000. I mean, that's on average. That's what I see, right? So I have some people, they've been renting for 14 years. They've been renting the same house for 14 years. They want to buy in Danville. They can't. They can't afford it.
Could they have bought in Danville 14 years ago?
If they would have bought in Danville 14 years ago, they would have $1.4 million in equity. The house that they're renting has gone up $1.4 million in the last 14 years.
How much is their rent?
Their rent they pay is like about $5,000 a month now. I mean, it's gone up. It's gone up. Like,
and they've been renting the same place for 14 years?
The same place. The same place.
Do some calculations. They just paid those people.
Do it. I mean, like, it's brilliant, right? So I have a few investment properties that I own, and like right now I'm like, oh, I want to sell these investment properties. And my husband's like, no, we're not going to sell them. And it's going to be the same thing, in 20 years when we want to retire, like they'll be worth a few $100 million more, or, a couple million more, and we'll retire with those,
1.1 million.
1.4 million.
Oof. Hey, how are you doing? I'm sorry to interrupt your video right now, but I want to emphasize this point. And she's pretty smart, right? And how about this guy? Hey. What? Wait, hey, this guy. Oh, yeah. Anyway, listen, I know I'm dressed a little sloppy right now with my tennis shoes and my untucked shirt. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I want to make sure that you get this point. If you have a renter that's paying $5,000 a month for 14 years for the same property, they have now paid $840,000 in rent. And that's a lot, right? That's almost $1 million, obviously. But the bigger point that she's making that I wanted to emphasize is that the equity that the owners have earned is $1.4 million. So let's break it down in terms of what really happened. It's like, let's make a deal. I'll make a deal with you. How about you pay me $840,000 and in exchange, I will take $1.4 million in additional equity and give you nothing. That's what it's like. Now, you can't build a time machine and go backwards 14 years and make it over again, but you're going to be 14 years older at some point. And so the point that she's making is think about the future. And although it might be difficult to get qualified, and although we may or may not be at the top of the market, nobody knows, the fact is that at some point you're going to want to be older and have that equity. And so don't miss out on this. All right, that's it.
They can't buy now. Like they've priced themselves out, you know, it's insane. So even though it's a crazy time to be buying right now, and I feel so bad for the buyers, I found an opportunity a couple of weeks ago. I found an opportunity where it was an off-market deal. The agent wasn't like marketing it well. There were hoarders in there. It was an amazing opportunity. Like I saw it as an opportunity and I was like, I'll make you an offer right now to buy it. And they're like, but you know, it's nobody could get in. It's the hoarders. I'm like, I don't ever need to see it. I don't need to see it till we close. I'll give them free rent back so they have the time to move, pack up. I never need to see it. So I wrote an offer. It was a pretty good offer and they accepted it. So I bought a cute little investment property because I'm like, there's nothing for rent here, nothing. So I'm like, now I have a really nice rental for all these people who can't afford to buy here that I'll just hang on to for the rest of my life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Put it in a trust. My kids will get it one day.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that you tend, so just for clarity, right? You're a multi-million dollar agent. You're very successful, but you have these fundamental things about you that everybody can have. So yes, you have a market where regular price house is 2 million. That's true. But it doesn't matter where the value of the houses are. It matters where your mind is at and where your positivity is at. And you seem to look at everything in a positive way. You have one day to sell the house. I got it. And you start calling people, you start working, right? You're like, I can't get into this house. There's a hoarder in there. You're like, that's fine. And then you come up with this plan and you're always looking at the opportunities. My question is, have you always been like that? Is that something that you've had to grow into? And the agents that you train that share those commonalities, do you find that they also share in a level of success?
Yes. So I haven't always been like this. Like, you know, I came really poor family. We had nothing. I had to work hard. Like I had to work hard for everything that I had. Nobody paid for college even, you know, like college was not an option. I'm the only person in my whole family, including my parents, that went to college. So yeah, I just felt like, why is it like not fair? Like it's not fair. Everybody gets like all these opportunities and I get nothing. Like I have no opportunities. I can't go to my parents and say, I'm hungry this month. Can you put $100 in my account for food? I couldn't do that. Like, and I saw these other kids, you know, in the college town I lived in, and like, if they needed money or gas money, people gave them stuff. And then one day, like, it just hit me that like, why can't I have those opportunities? Like I can have those opportunities. I'm just going to make them for myself. I'm just going to do it myself. But I also have a really strong sense spiritually of who I am. And so I kind of turned to my Heavenly Father. And I was like, I leaned on him like he was my physical father. Like I 100% leaned on him. And I was like, Heavenly Father, like, help me. Like I have a desire to do what's right. Like help me. And I 100% leaned on him like he was present. And he was always present. So I feel like that kind of gave me the motivation to know that like, I'm not like anybody, you know, like I'm not without. I'm glad that life's not fair because it's unfair in a way that I have more. I know who I am. I'm a choice daughter of Heavenly Father. And because of that, I can do anything. There's nothing I can't do. If you told me, Erik, this year, go make $5 million, I would go make $5 million. Like I could do it. I told my husband even, I'm like, if you want me to make more money for you, I can. I just need a few more hours a week. And he's like, I'm good. Like we like having you at home a lot too. So $1 million is good because we've learned how to juggle that. Like I took my son to baseball camp today. I'm actually ditching work in 15 when we get off here. I have a coaching call that I'll be on, and then I'm driving to the beach with my kids. So I'm going to ditch work today and skip out and take them to the beach so that I can have that well-balanced life. Because who cares about the money if like my husband's not happy, my kids aren't happy, they don't have a mom, like who cares about the money? So mindset, it's all mindset. Like people don't realize that, but it starts with mindset. So that's the first thing that I coach agents. They always roll their eyes. They never want to do affirmations. But this isn't the only market I've been in, Erik. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky to be in a $2 million market. But I started in Southern California. I went to Utah. The houses I sold in Utah were like $100,000 at the time. And it didn't matter. I still became a top producer in that market. It was really cheap to live there. So I bought my own house when I was 19, I think. I bought my first house when I was 18, but in that market, I bought one too. And I was selling $100,000 houses. But I leveraged that house, sold it to a doctor, bought a new one, like I just kept leveraging. And why not? Why can't I have the opportunities? Then I went to Las Vegas. One of my checks for selling a house in Las Vegas was like $125.
Wow.
That was my commission check.
Wow.
After all the splits. So I'm like, dude, this check sucks. I make more cocktailing on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night than I do busting my ass working for these people for 2 months. I got that check and I'm like, never again. Like never again. So I was on a team, very successful team. And I'm like, I don't want to split with anybody. I can do my own thing. Like I'm the one making the cold calls. I'm the one going on the listing appointments. I'm the one dumping the listings on your desk. I'm going to do my own thing. So I left the team and I went out on my own. I actually then moved to California. I mean, I've been in all sorts of markets. I worked in Manhattan. That was really good training. In New York at the time, Manhattan, there was no MLS. So you had to learn how to hustle your ass off. That's why agents, I feel like, are so freaking lazy right now because they put it on the MLS and it sells, Well, I could sell a house with no MLS. I don't need the MLS. Forget the MLS. I'll sell it anyways, So having the MLS is like a jet pack of fuel, to help it, but I don't need that. And so it's just over time, like learning who I am, what I want in life, and how I can design that, and then doing the action items to get there, all the while just forgetting the negative and just being grateful and positive. It just all works out,
Well, you're an inspiration. Your stuff is hilarious, and you're obviously not an accidental success. It's very clear you were successful in every market, and I love what you shared. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing, and
Anytime.
I will see you around.